Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we'll continue with our second unit with the lesson today, which is language in context and listening. In your books, page 24. All you need for the lesson today is your books, page 24, a sheet of paper and a pen to take down your notes. So let's get started from the homework you got from the grammar lesson. In the previous lesson, it was about the past perfect tense. Here, in your books, page 91, exercise C. Complete the story. Use simple past or past perfect. Just to remind you that we will use the past and the past perfect if the older action will be in the past perfect and the newer, however it is before now, will be in the past tense. Let's read in here a conversation between Hanan and Amina. Hanan, last month I go to the different art museum in the city. I never been to many museums before last month. So I went because I had never been to many museums. Starting from last month, I have visited many. Amina, you probably see many famous paintings and pieces of art had seen before last month. Hanan, I did, but there was one piece of art that I had never seen before last month. Amina, had you been in the Novi Art Museum? Then the answer is yes. How did you know in the past? And she will answer, was it tall silver tree? And she said, well, I think so. So whenever we're having two actions, both of them are in the past, the older will be in the past perfect. Then what comes closer to the present, we will say the newer will be in the simple past tense. Let's try to do these which are about speculation. The idea of speculating is when you are trying to make a guess about what you've got. Reality that my friend is not in class today. Speculation, what I think that happened, what made her not in class today. We will look at this picture and we will use must have happened, might have happened, and could have happened. He's late for work, and I will say he must have slept late yesterday. He might have forgotten to set his alarm clock yesterday. That's why he is late today. He could have stayed up late last night, and that's why he is late today, or he's absent today. How about this man? He looks like he's happy, he's excited, and he is celebrating something. Why do you think so? For me, I guess he might have won a prize, have won it before now. He could have been watching a game and his team won. And maybe his team can't have lost the game. It must have won. It can't have lost. So I'm having the reality in a picture and I'm making guesses about what had happened before that. Let's look at this little girl. Reality, that she's crying. Why? Let's make our own guesses. The girl might have hurt herself. Maybe she had hurt herself. Something must have scared the girl. I am more likely to be sure. And she could have lost her mom. All of these are possibilities, however, must will be much more sure than the others. How about this man? Reality, that he had fallen off the stairs. Why? We will say, I will make a guess, I will say, he must have tripped on something and fallen. Maybe it's a rock or something. Or he could have slipped on some water. It's not falling, it's slippery. And also, he might have been in a hurry. Maybe he was walking or running quickly. That's why he had fallen. You can come up with any guess or any speculation. Speculating, trying to guess what caused the reality that we can see. How about this man? He looks like he's worried. Maybe he's afraid. I will say he must have watched a horror movie. Also, he could have been worried. Also, he might have heard a weird noise. Maybe any one of these is possible. However, maybe I will tell that must have watched a horror movie, more likely that it happened. For our lesson today, by the end of today's lesson, you will be able to form sentences using past perfect tense. Also, you will use the past perfect tense to describe what had happened prompted by pictures. So you will describe pictures using past perfect tense. And you will be able to answer some questions on a listening text. So it's going to be, we're going to apply what we have taken in the grammar lesson, as well as you will listen and answer some questions. Let's start with the first one. In your books, page 24, what had happened before he arrived late at work? Reality that he arrived late at work. Today, I'm telling you about a colleague who came late to work. And what had happened before he came late to work? I will say, the man had woken up late. Woken up late, then arrived late to work. Maybe he had missed the bus. Missed the bus, so came late to work. And also, he stayed up late yesterday. Stayed up late, came late to work today. Now let's look at this picture. I will tell you about someone who got wet. He got wet, maybe it must have been raining. He got wet now. What happened before that, before he got wet? I will tell you, the man had forgotten his umbrella. He forgotten his umbrella today in the morning. Then it rained. Then he got wet. Then it had been raining. It had been raining, that's why he got wet. Raining, then got wet. Then he had left his umbrella at home. Had left his umbrella at home, went to work, it rained, then he got wet. So the oldest is going to be in the past perfect tense. How about this window? It's a broken window. Someone broke the window. I saw this window in here. Look at the picture and imagine what had happened before the father saw the broken window. My father saw the broken window. What happened before he could see it? Before that, we have someone had broken the window. Then my father saw it. Also, someone had thrown a rock on it. Then my father saw it. So, had broken, then saw it. Maybe then he will take an action tomorrow. Okay, now in your books as well, on page 24, we're having in here, look at the picture and imagine what had happened before Mr. and Mrs. Jones get home. Let's imagine that we're having these two parents, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. They were away from home, maybe for, let's say, 3 to 5 hours. Then when they got back home, they found out the house is like, you can check in the picture, it looks like a mess, as if there were a tornado in the house. Let's tell what had happened before they got home. We can tell here, when the parents got home, they came back home. Here, we will look at this picture and they found out that the kitchen is a mess. So they will tell that the children had cooked dinner. Were they cooking when the parents got home? No. They had eaten and they had finished, and the kitchen is a mess. Also, when the parents got home, they found out that there were drawings on the wall. Who made these drawings before the parents came home? They will say that the little boy had drawn on the wall. While they were away, he had drawn on the wall. Then they came home. Also, we can tell they found out that lipstick's everywhere and the mom's clothes are everywhere. The little girl had tried her mom's clothes. She had tried them, then she took them off. Then the parents came and they found out the mess. Also, we're having here they had their friends with them, so they had invited their friends. Did the mom and the dad or the parents did they meet the friends? No, they were not there. They saw the mess afterwards. Also, we have here, also, they had eaten in the living room. Were they eating when the parents arrived? No, they weren't eating, but they saw the pizza in the living room. They saw the mess in the living room. So they had eaten, then the parents came home. Let's try to put these actions on this timeline. We will say when the parents got home, maybe yesterday, they got home yesterday in the evening, they found out that their children had done things. We will have here, the children had cooked dinner. So the oldest action will be in the past perfect tense, had plus the past participle. And the earliest action, it is in the past, so simple past tense, got home. Also, when the parents got home, what had they find out? The little boy had drawn on the wall. So had drawn, here it happened before the other action, which is came home. Also, when the parents got home, things happened before they got home. The little girl had tried her mom's clothes. Had tried. So it happened hours before the parents are home. Also, when the parents got home yesterday, hours before, the children had invited their friends. So we're having had and invited. They had invited. However, they couldn't meet the friends. Also, when they got home, the children had eaten in the living room. They were not eating. They had finished eating. However, I saw the result or what happened afterward, which is the mess. So we're having one action in the past and what had happened before that. Okay, for the listening part in your book's page 24. And here, what are the types of listening? Whenever we are listening for a purpose, whether it is content listening. Content listening is when you are about to listen for specific information. I will ask you for a date, a color, a name, so very specific. You're not listening for everything, just this detail. Or you might be listening for comprehensive listening. Comprehensive listening, I will ask you, what is the main idea of the text? What are they talking about? So it will be general information. Or it will be critical listening. You will listen, so afterward, after listening, you will come with the idea of, what do you think of what you have heard? I have heard it, however, I disagree, I totally disagree with them. You will give your point of view. Or it is emphatic listening. You will listen, then you will tell how you feel towards what you have heard. I am proud of the speaker. I am scared, I am happy, or I feel sad towards them. Okay, how are you going to listen? You will follow these steps. Whenever you are in front of a listening text, before that, you're always having time to read the questions. So you will decide, what are you listening for? Is it for comprehension, general information, specific information, or to tell what I think or how I feel? So you have to read, so you tell why you are listening. Then listen carefully, and you are listening to answer the questions that you have read already. And while you're listening, it's a good idea to take notes so you can ask your questions or answer the questions that you have been asked about. Okay, at the beginning in here, what could have happened? In this picture, let's look at this picture and we will describe it. What could have happened in this picture? I can see lights in here. We're having here water, and we're having as well as, let's say, the moon. And it is in the darkness. Maybe for me, I will say these are fireworks, or it is the reflection of the stars, or a big group, or a big group of stars that we're having. Also, let's look at the other picture. In here, I will make my own speculation and I will tell the reality that we're having someone who's trying to get into maybe the house or to the playground through the fence. This one is the fence, not a wall, it's a fence. Maybe I will tell that he is the owner of the house, however, he had forgotten his keys in the house, so he couldn't get into the house. Or maybe you will tell, no, I believe that he is a thief. He's trying to sneak into the house. Maybe you will tell that he is playing a game with someone. All of these are guesses. We're not sure about anything. Okay, now you will listen to two stories and you will tell me who's speaking, who are these stories about, and what are they talking about. Okay, let's listen together.
Erica Schwartz. I'd invited a new friend for breakfast. While we were drinking our coffee, my guest asked if I wasn't going to introduce the gentleman who had previously been in the dining room. I said it must have been my husband, Joe, and I went to look for him. But the person had disappeared. My friend assured me she had seen a man who was wearing dark pants, a white shirt, and a black tie. That night I told my husband about it, but then we forgot all about the incident. 2 weeks later my 10-year-old daughter woke up and saw a man standing at the foot of her bed staring at her. We told her she must have had a bad dream. Several nights later we heard noises of chairs being moved around in the dining room. Joe went downstairs to investigate. The chairs had been moved from their places, but there was no one there. As soon as he climbed back into bed, the noise started again. We lived with those noises for more than a year, and some of the guests who slept in our house swore they had seen a man who wore dark pants, a white shirt, and a black tie. In the end, we had to sell the place and move out.
Fred and Mildred McCann. Fred and Mildred McCann had finished rounding up the cattle and were heading home after a long and extremely hot day. It was already dark by the time they got to the edge of the woods that surrounded their property. Suddenly they noticed a strong glow coming from the bushes about 100 yards away. Could it be sparks from a fire? A fire at this time of the year would be catastrophic. Mildred and Fred got on their horses and rode to the spot. As they approached a clearing in the middle of the trees, they saw hundreds of tiny lights flickering in the bushes. They looked like miniature stars.
Okay, so who's speaking in here? We're having Erica, and the other one, which is Mildred, are telling Fred and Mildred telling their stories. And what are they talking about? Generally, both of them are telling about strange stories that they have been through. One is about the strange man who's at Erica's house, and the other one is about the strange light that they had seen at their farm or at their ranch. So we're having strange incidents, strange events, or things that happened, and they had no explanations for these. Let's listen to the first story, which is Erica's house, and you will tell what happened, what really happened, as Erica is telling us about it, and what is your speculation or possibility? What could it be? You are about to tell what do you think it is. Is it what she thought or something else you think? Let's listen to Erica.
Erica Schwartz. I'd invited a new friend for breakfast. While we were drinking our coffee, my guest asked if I wasn't going to introduce the gentleman who had previously been in the dining room. I said it must have been my husband, Joe, and I went to look for him. But the person had disappeared. My friend assured me she had seen a man who was wearing dark pants, a white shirt, and a black tie. That night I told my husband about it, but then we forgot all about the incident. 2 weeks later my 10-year-old daughter woke up and saw a man standing at the foot of her bed staring at her. We told her she must have had a bad dream. Several nights later we heard noises of chairs being moved around in the dining room. Joe went downstairs to investigate. The chairs had been moved from their places, but there was no one there. As soon as he climbed back into bed, the noise started again. We lived with those noises for more than a year, and some of the guests who slept in our house swore they had seen a man who wore dark pants, a white shirt, and a black tie. In the end, we had to sell the place and move out.
Okay, so what happened? As Erica told us, what really happened is people saw a man in dark pants, white shirt, and a black tie in Erica's house. When guests then, or everyone who slept at their house said the same. Also, Erica and her husband also heard noises. Even her 10-year-old daughter told them that she saw that man in her bedroom. What is your guesses, your speculations? What do you think that this man, is it reality? Maybe we can tell that they might have imagined seeing someone. It's not reality. They might have imagined. Or it could be a ghost. Or we can say he might be a thief, someone who is trying to steal things from them. Or we can say that they might have imagined seeing things. How about the other story, which is Fred and Mildred's Ranch? You will listen and you will tell the reality as they told us in the story. Then try to guess. Give any explanation for what they have seen. Let's listen.
Fred and Mildred McCann. Fred and Mildred McCann had finished rounding up the cattle and were heading home after a long and extremely hot day. It was already dark by the time they got to the edge of the woods that surrounded their property. Suddenly they noticed a strong glow coming from the bushes about 100 yards away. Could it be sparks from a fire? A fire at this time of the year would be catastrophic. Mildred and Fred got on their horses and rode to the spot. As they approached a clearing in the middle of the trees, they saw hundreds of tiny lights flickering in the bushes. They looked like miniature stars.
So, what happened? Reality, as they told us, they saw a bright glow from some bushes. As they got closer, they saw thousands of tiny lights on the bushes. So they saw it as if it were fire, and when they got there, they saw little stars that are shiny in there in the bushes. What is your speculation? What do you think that this fire or these glittery things are? Maybe we can tell that they must have seen fireflies. These are little insects that will glow in the darkness. So these are certain types of insects. Maybe they have imagined things. Okay, 4 things in here we will write about what had happened, the possibility or the speculation. In the Erica's house story, we can come up with the man that they had seen. We can tell they might have imagined seeing someone. It could be a ghost, or it might be a thief. So we can come up with speculations or guesses about what had happened. Not the reality. We're trying to calm them down and tell them things. In the situation of Fred and Mildred's ranch, we can tell that it must have been fireflies, the little insects, or it could be fireworks or a fire. So we can come up with as many as you can of the guesses. For some of the words that we've listened in these two stories, when we say her husband assured her, tell someone something positively to dispel any doubts. So my friend assured me that the test is tomorrow. So when I am assuring you, I am telling you not to worry. I am sure this thing is going to happen. Also, incident. Following this incident, it's an event or occurrence, something that happened. There were several amusing events. Also, he went down to investigate. To investigate is to carry out a systematic inquiry, questioning, to discover the facts so as to establish the truth. You are trying to find out the truth. Someone is missing, you will investigate, asking. Usually investigators, police officers, they investigate. So the police are investigating the crime. They want to know who had done it. I'll try to use these. Nothing was said about that at the park, something that happened, about the incident at the park. Everyone is waiting for the police to come, and they will do what? To investigate. Then they can assure us that things will be fine. So the incident happened, they will come investigate and ask questions, and they will assure us and tell us about the reality. For your homework, you will think about, have you ever heard or read about unusual incidents that were hard to explain? It could be just like Erica's stories, or Fred and Mildred's ranch. What had happened? Something that is weird, something that you can't find any explanations about, and we will come up with speculations for these. Okay? I guess that is it for the lesson today, and thank you so much for your time.